Good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing good. Get this live going. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Check, 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 check. Get my brother in here. Thumbs up. Drop me some hearts if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yo, what's up, brother?
You good?
Yeah. Let's see, I put it on this one.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear
Can you
you.
hear
Can you
me?
hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay.
hmm Yeah, I can hear
How
you.
you doing? Okay.
Doing good. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hell yeah, brother. So good morning.
Yeah, morning. I feel too.
Just doing, dad vibes all day.
Yeah, I got mine watching
editing,
TV.
editing, doing all that doing all this good stuff. I was working on this track right here. Working on this shit. But other than that, man, just trying to create.
How's that been going? Been having stuff flowing to you or what? The creation zone?
Yeah, I guess so, bro. That's kind of like, why not? I got, I got all the knowledge to do so.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just, I guess it's just the format, That's everything. For me, it's just kind of, okay, well, where is this all going to, and how is it going to be presented? What's the direction, And I think that these interviews, that these live, people on, it's like what I'm finding out is like there's like throughout the whole day, people are on the Instagram for like 30 minutes a day, bro. People on Instagram only for 30 minutes. That's the average time span people on this app, right? And if people want to create, people want to post their music, people want to do all these different things, but they're only using one application, it doesn't make sense to even try to push it, because you got to use all these. Because like right now, I had to pay to get my music on all platforms, So right now, people can go on TikTok, people can go on Instagram. I think they can go on YouTube and music, and they can type in "indigenize the world." Now you can get my music.
hmm
So it's just how do you get more accessible to to your people? Because everybody's using different apps, and you never know who's going to be listening and who's going to like your shit. So right now, I'm taking like I'm sourcing the interviews on Instagram, but then I upload them to YouTube full length, no edits or anything, and then I go to TikTok and I put like I take whatever that the highlight of that person's saying, or they're saying some like real culture shit to like everybody, a general message or like a real crazy story or something. I take that part and I put it on TikTok, and it's like a 2 minute story, bro,
Heck yeah.
with edits and all, with like little edits and all that stuff, promoting the Instagram live interviews. So everything is kind of still gearing back to my Instagram. Everything right now, and hopefully in the future, man. On the My goal is by like getting enough audience to where it can be a YouTube podcast. You know,
Yeah.
because with different applications, you can do different things. You see my lives where I do like a graphic, and then I play my music, and the music's clear as fuck, crisp as fuck, right? We'll say let's take all your equipment where you're at. You can do the same thing. Like we can change this whole Instagram page, Instagram live interviews to a whole different level, bro. The only thing is, if you keep doing that, if I keep doing that, and I'm using these third-party streaming softwares to do all this stuff, you're sending so much information to Instagram that that Instagram's going to flag your page for using all this information because it's not used to seeing all these people, all this kilobytes per second going to your phone, you're streaming. They only have an average of like 2,000 to like 3,000 kilobytes per stream. So if you go above that, they're gonna flag your shit, which I think happened to me. I got shadow banned or some shit because ever since I did my first streaming using all this shit, I I haven't been reaching as much followers. So how do you break that shit? How do you break the algorithms? And they got tools for that already for people to dive into new different ways of promoting your stuff. So it's like what I'm finding out, if you want to create, if you're trying to put a message out right now on Instagram, is to use the reels. That's how you promote your shit. Reels, and you gotta have, if you got music or you got something like that, you gotta have your music on to where people can type it in Spotify, and then you can get your shit on Instagram. Clear music. You don't gotta post no bullshit, and it's good quality. Okay, so well, what's the point, you know? Because I could have done this a long time ago, but I don't know. You know, life is too short. You want to. For me, it's always documenting. I always took this art form as documenting my story, my message, the chapters of life, whatever, yada yada. So that's how I kind of did this stuff. So now my nieces, they got phones. Now my you know, my other little cousins, they're getting their own little setup. You know, okay, well, I'm kind of like showing to them too, like if you can do this, you can do it. The quality of it, you might not have it to where you want it to be, but do enough hustle, you can get the quality you want. But as far as starting up your own streaming, putting your music up on iTunes, YouTube, like it takes a little bit of money, but once you got it up, it's up there. So in the meantime, it's like people should be definitely doing their research, definitely doing whatever they're trying to promote their message, themselves, their business, whatever it is. Like you got to really understand those applications. You can't just get on the app and then start creating and not know the full potential of that app or the other plugins that app does that could make your creation process even easier. So that's all I'm trying to do. That's why I want to take this to YouTube, but I got to build up my YouTube channel. So how do you do that? You know, you got to have like a quick, easy. So you go on my Instagram page and you see that link tree, and you go to that link tree, and then you see the YouTube links, Twitch links, TikTok, all that, SoundCloud. So it was kind of just giving people to look at, because once people see that you're trying to do something and you got all these links and everything look nice, then people kind of give you a little respect. Because your setup looks kind of good, and you're trying to, I don't know, you're putting your time and effort into your craft, bro. And that's what kind of people like that stuff too. But you're trying
So
to
what's up, Cooper?
Yeah, Cooper.
trying to strive. Hey, Sunray. Yep. So it's just I'm trying to get the hang of all these applications. I downloaded this one for YouTube, bro. You should probably get it too, to where you can like you can go on YouTube and you can stream. At the same time you're streaming, you can pull up all these other different windows. You don't just see you, and you can look at your like your YouTube channel or videos you're trying to show, or you know, it takes a lot of memory. I had to fucking update my laptop, had to do all kinds of shit just to download OBS. But that's the streaming software, man.
That's badass. I'm glad that you're getting it out there and doing more, you know, because you know you got to do what you love, what you like. And, the music shit's I know you've always liked and enjoyed. So I'm glad you're getting more on platforms and putting it out there, because shit, need better music out there for the Native community. Hey,
Yeah, for real, bro. And there's a lot. It's just these artists. I don't know. They stop. They stop. And for me, I already knew I was gonna stop, so I try to create as much as possible, you know, before my child was born, so I can take this hiatus, you know. And I already knew, like 2 years old, they're okay because I already raised my nieces, so I know how I know how to like how these kids kind of can take care of themselves, you know. But like 2 years old, they can like get their own shit, you know. They
Yeah.
already know some things. They can walk around and grab shit. So that's one thing I like. I'm doing right now, taking advantage of that time, as well as bringing her in. You know, like we were just on the microphone. I was trying to set up a track so she can, you know, put on the headphones and she can hear herself through the headphones and like record her voice and then let her listen to it back. You know, like I was just like showing my daughter that like you can hear it. Like this is what Dad's doing. I'm not just screaming over here or talking to the screen. Now she kind of knows like, oh, I'm making music. Like, oh, all right, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
it's
what it
always
is,
good to
man.
show the
Just kind
kid.
of cleaning it up, you know, cleaning up your platforms. Just kind of using them to where, because they're always updating, and with these updates, they limit you in more ways. They try to limit your message to using a whole different. So now people are trying to. They don't want you to do any edits, but on Instagram, you know. So it's kind of like if you really kind of use Instagram, use it to the full potential. The reels is what you really need to put out your music, your cut out content, your pictures, your videos if you're trying to get more following. So I just been trying to like study, okay, well what's all this gearing towards? And I think Instagram is gonna die one day. Instagram will be no more because unless it sticks to one specific thing. And okay, how does that look? And pictures are usually what's always about Instagram. But now they added these reels, so you know they're trying to keep up with TikTok and all that stuff. So you got to use it and check it out. That's all I've been doing. I've been experimenting how to put out your content, how to put out different things, what people like, what they do like is life, real life, stuff, man. They don't like if it's about art and it's about some fake shit, and I guess people are gonna go watch it, go tune in. But majority of people like watching real life in the real life, videos.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what I've seen like with my work because that's what I've been thinking a lot lately. Like I mean my IG, I like it, but just for my work, like there's so many people and algorithms. So for me, it's like I kind of been trying to take a step back, not necessarily from the social media, but just from like engulfing it all. And that's kind of where for me, I'm trying to figure out, like you're saying, real shit. So that's where I'm learning now because I want to start releasing some podcasts. I want to start doing some videos, but I want them to be like authentic. I'm not saying my shit's not authentic, but I hold back a lot of stuff, like whether it's like opinions or like just in general, like just how I see things, because I know a lot of people are gonna get offended and then they're gonna want to challenge that shit with like their science or this or that. And but I'm getting to the point now where like they just sound silly now, especially when a lot of these people they don't really understand like spirituality, and then it's like they tie these labels and things to them, and it's like you really don't understand it. Like I'm not gonna say I do too, but at least my people understand it, my ancestry, my lineage, and for myself, I'm learning, and I'm not saying they can't learn, but it's kind of like just be real with it, because it's just all this other shit looks goofy, when people do all this stuff like whatever, maybe whether it's crystals, this, that, all this stuff, and I get it, it's cool because I got crystals, I got all this stuff too, but it's like you can just tell the difference, man. Like I swear, and that's what I get pissed at the people who get offended. It's like they act like they can't relate to it or see it. It's kind of, I always say like it's like they can't smell the shit in the room, and that's kind of where I get annoyed, where it's like, and then when someone says something or puts it out there, they get offended as if like they're being attacked or their knowledge is being attacked. And it's like, dude, like, how do you think a native feels who comes from all this shit? Like, who's been doing it before it was even like a trend or a topic? Like, it was just done. Like, it was just done normally, and then that's kind of where I'm getting to myself, where I want to get myself to normalness a bit. And then, even just trying to get myself right, like that's why, I mean, I haven't really reached out to a lot of other natives yet, but it's like, that's where I want to get the natives, you know, because the natives understand, you know, and it's like I don't really give a damn about the other people because it's like the other people, they're just gonna do what they're gonna do and they're gonna fucking ruin the shit, whether it's a group or themselves, you know, like that's why I love this movement because it's like people don't get when you do these things, like sometimes this shit doesn't happen instantaneously, like whether it's good or bad, you know, and that's where I want these people to realize, like, you're opening portals consciously, you know, spiritually, and there's a lot of shit gonna come in, and that's where for me, like, that's why I took a step back because I'm just kind of like I want to close all those off because it's like all these other people are just gonna keep pulling in what fits them best, so what makes them, you know, feel relatable or accountable to whatever they feel like they know. And for me, I'm just like I'm done with it. You know, people want to act that way, fine, but it doesn't mean I can't have like pride and honor in what my people do too. You know, just because the majority of America forgot and my own people forgot, it's like I don't have to forget and I don't have to feel bad because my people don't know or the greater America don't know. I don't need to feel bad about that. And I'm tired of like that's how it goes, you know? I'm tired of like even like there's times where I want to like bring out my staff or go into a room and do things, but I know that just me going in a room like that, it turns heads, it turns people start feeling different. For me, I don't care about that, but I'm tired of that being the main drive. Just like in, I don't know if you've seen How High, when he fucking gets in the car and he's like, bitch, like dick drive this car. You know what I mean? And like, what I'm trying to say is like fucking native spirituality, like these eagle feathers, like this shit runs the show here, like not these fucking flags and this politics and then all this social fucking constructs of conscious minds of how people view each other and talk to each other. It's like, nah, man, like that shit's weak. That shit's killing our people. That shit's fucking putting people in the grave. That shit's putting people at war. It's like, put that shit out. And then like all these other people, you know, it's funny. I look at people, you know, people probably look at me too and study my shit and say whatever they want about me. But when I look at all these other people, like pulling in all this spiritual shit and trying to like attach it to themselves, it's like, it just does not suit. Like it doesn't even suit well. Like I get it, you know, there's honest people out there. But for me, I'm just like, dude, we need to get our shit back as native people. Cause before, like, that's one thing I laugh. Like I was just talking to Karma about this and, it's like about reservation dogs and even just native movies in general. I was telling Derek, I was like, you know, I was so stupid because like the non-natives, that's where they put their thoughts to what a native is to their consciousness. So when they see a native doing something like that, or it's opposed of in their space, they'll make fucking fun of it, or they'll say something stupid. Like, for instance, like for instance, that owl scene and what's it called? You know, a lot of people would joke about that, but in reality, it's like we know what the owls, you know, what it's for, what it represents, you know, and a lot of us understand the reality of it, but the greater whole of non-natives are going to take that as a joke. Even the natives, because there's a lot of natives that act just like fucking greater society and take our culture as a joke and take, you know, our understanding as a joke. And that's why I trip out on that show too, because it's like to the non-native, that's what non-natives are like, oh, this is how natives are in 2021. This is how natives are on the reservation. It's like, nah, like a lot of that shit is just washed up. Like I was even tripping out when I first seen it, like even the gang part, like where they show like where they go see your mom. And it's like the part of the gang part where they get rolled up on and they get shot with paintballs. I'm like, there's dudes and there's fools that get blasted like that all the time on the res. Like there's people that get rolled up on and shot like that. Like, why make that a joke? Like, why not show the reality of it? Like, why not show the reality of like the struggle of what it is for be a native in this society, you know, show what it is to like be in a gang related, you know, environment or a drug related environment, you know, or not knowing your culture, being this and that, but also including like humor, you know, friendship, all that, because that's all there. But I just wish they showed the reality of things of like where people can see like it's not no fucking gimmick, you know. Even when I was watching that Fry Bread song, they were laughing. Like I was just laughing at that because I'm like, why do people Hollywood size our shit so much to where it's just like that when it's like in reality that shit's not good for us. It's just not healthy for us. It never was. We only made that because we weren't getting fucking food. So we had to make a fucking big ass meal, just like, you know, Mexican people make big ass burritos and they'll cut it in half in the morning, eat it throughout the day, open it up at work, eat it going home, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like commodity foods, beans, fucking meat, all this shit that they gave us. Like we had to make what we got. So it's like, we're going to feed our family. You're going to make a fucking big portion. You're not going to be giving out little fucking things because that's all you got, you know, and you got to have something that fucking fills up your family and gets them full. And for me, it's like a lot of this shit is getting weird, you know, whether it's people like the natives on IG, the natives on TikTok. It's like most people who watch that shit relate that shit and be like, oh, that's what it is to be native. Oh, that's what it is. Like, it's like, fuck no, man. Like, none of that is not being native. All that is just a mash pot. Like, for us being lost, to me, I feel like outside of ourselves, a lot of that was given to us too, because it's like, they know it's just going to confuse us. They know it's just going to put us over here while we're over here focusing on this and that and tribal sovereignty and land back and whatever. They're over here still laying pipelines, still making $1 million deals, still extracting resources and still shitting on all of us. And that's where, to me, I'm getting to the point of like, this shit needs to be reverted. And that's kind of like where I like how we are, you know, like yourself within the music and just who you are. Like, we've always been these raw ass natives that just show up like and shut it down. Like, I don't give a fuck who's out there. Everybody knows who we are. And if they haven't, they got people in this circle that could vouch for us, that have been with us. And that's where, for me, it's like, I want to revamp that. And like you're saying, like, what's the goal? Like, what's the end goal? You know, and that's how I am in the psychedelic movement. Because I look at all these categories and I'm like, well, what's your goal? Because if you were really there to help people, why do you got to charge people? Why do you got to do this? Why do you got to do that? Like, if you're going to help someone, help someone. That's why I do this shit for free, you know, because it's like, I don't care. You know, you either come or you don't. And if not, it's not my fault. You know, there's so much shit out there you can go try out. And 90% of it don't fucking work, you know, and that goes to the natives too. That's kind of like where I want to start collaborating with natives. But at the same time, I'm just like, I hate how opportunistic the fucking native community is, like, especially the native movement. Like, once they see something that's very attention grabbing or a potential fucking donation, like, it's fucking sad, dude. And that's another reason why, like, I want to create a collective of like raw ass natives, like what we do, because it's like, dude, we need it, man. And I'm tired of like all these other modalities, like controlling the consciousness of our native people, even our youth. Like, it's just weird, man. And it's weird how like the majority of native country goes along with it. You know, that's what I was telling Derek. I was like, that's why people don't take us seriously, because of fucking Hollywood. You know what I mean? Because of how fucking Hollywood portrayed us and how they made us fucking look. But I guarantee you step into a real ceremony and you act like that shit is not going to fucking fly. If anything, like, you're not going to act like that, because you'll see how real the fucking ceremony is. And that's why, like, I just don't like Hollywood anymore. I don't like any of it, because it's like, this shit is not really what it is as a native. Like, you want to know what it's like to a native? Go chill with a native. Go to a reservation and be there. Don't just show up and leave, or go there to get your fucking story or to get your fucking 2 cents in. Like, go fucking be there and fill it out what it is to be fucking on this shit. And if not, like, shut the fuck up, because you don't know what it is to be a native. And if you don't know what it is to be ceremonial as a native, quit trying to pretend. Like, and that's where I'm coming to the point of like, where I'm not even going to get into it with people. I'm just going to be who I am and be real. And it's like, if I don't want to fuck with you, like, there's a reason. Like, and if you're acting all stupid and shit, like, change yourself. And if not, like, there's a shitload of clowns out there playing a game. Like, go join them. Like, go fucking sit at the table with them. Go laugh with them. Go fucking do whatever you want, you know? But it's like, for here, I want it to be real, because it really gets to me that, like, ceremony isn't a big conversation in Native community. Like, people will use it as like word soup, word salad, you know, to like express conversation and whatnot. But it's like, people don't fucking really talk about it. They don't really be about it, you know. And that's where, for me, I'm like, where's that at? Because as for me, it's like, I'm not talking about sharing it to the world. But as far as natives, we should be able to talk to each other about ceremony. We should be able to talk to each other about prayer. We should be able to talk to each other about like Creator and Mother Earth, you know. And that's why some days I'm just like, dude, like, if you're native, well, where's that at? Because every native, what made them outside of their land was their ceremonies. That's taught them about a lot of things, whether it was the sky, the earth, the plants, animals, cycles, you name it. Like ceremony fucking taught a human being how to be. And that's where for me, I trip out of how like in Native community, you don't see that. Like even in Hollywood, like you only see it for like a B-roll or for like a little fucking like mystical fucking mysterious moment where they go to the spirit world or this or that. But it's like, fuck that, man. Like, where's the real deal? Because we've always been about that shit. Like before all this, like what this bro saying, propaganda and all this other shit, like we were about the real deal. Like praying to Creator Mother Earth and handling shit with our fucking family, whether it was good or bad. Like we were fucking writers, you know, and that's where for me, I want that to be brought about again. You know, I was supposed to have a podcast with a brother Dave, and but he canceled. We're gonna do it again next week. But that's what I want to talk to him about. It's just about, you know, I'm not saying everyone needs to fucking quit what they're doing because we're all gonna fucking make mistakes. I make mistakes, I still do. But I'm just saying the ceremony will give you that fucking reality. Like, you know, just like if I never did ceremony, like if I never took that medicine, bro, I'd probably just be playing football, bro, Monday through Sunday, like beat. You know, I'd be enjoying it, I'd be having fun, but I'd be beat, like mentally, physically, and spiritually. But the only reason why I'm doing it is because I'd be at a D1 or I'd be getting paid, you know, and that's usually what keeps these guys going. But in reality, man, like that shit takes a lot on your brain, your body, like everything, man. And that's what for me, like, I'm glad I did this medicine because I would have did that shit. And then I would have tried to do it, and I feel like it would have backfired on me because then everyone would have been like, oh, look at this guy, thinks he's all good, too good from the res and whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm glad I took my route because I've been in the shitter. I fucking slept on the ground. I've had nothing when I've had everything. That's another cool thing. It's like I've had all the resources I can have, but I still chose to fucking sleep on the ground, fucking do it this, you know? And that's where I'm glad I did that because I can actually like go to those spaces where some people like they don't know what that's like. They don't know what it's like to literally lay on the mother and take it to that position outside of like, oh, I'm just laying here. I'm just trying to go to
That's
no,
what it
it's like,
takes.
you know?
That's what it takes, man. It takes we do things, especially when I was a lot younger, bro. Like it takes wisdom, especially for the ones that, you know, the reason why we do things is to is pass it on. You know, if it's about ceremony, but definitely about life journey. The life journey is what you're gonna pass on to your son, to your daughters. What happened through your life, and a lot of it's not really about politics. A lot of what the knowledge we need to hear is about, you know, how do we sustain ourselves? You know, how did you get through this? You know, these are the questions I'm gonna hear in the future. How did you get through this, Dad? How did you survive the pandemic? What did you guys do? What happened? You know, and as we look back on life, always as we look back on life, we want to look back at the good things. Okay, so right now is the perfect time, especially as we're young and we're not getting old. We're not getting any younger. We gotta really find those spiritual grounds, your foundation that we all talk about. You know, that foundation we're supposed to be building and adding to and enriching. You know, we might not have seeds, but we are planting seeds. But when we start seeing these seeds start to blossom and give us fruit, you know, then we share. We also take it in, but we have to appreciate and remember what we prayed for, because a lot of this stuff comes from that prayer. And in the future ground that we are going to be walking, you know, I hope we did our best. When we look back, we're going to say I did my best. I tried my hardest. You know, I didn't give up. I try to stay humble. I try to stay in that middle ground of happiness and anger and not try to get too happy, knowing that there's people out here that are suffering. I'm not trying not to get too angry, because I know that this is something that's going to be a life throughout my life experience. You know, that this colonization, these effects, the symptoms, the stereotypes, the language, everything is against us. You know, so one thing I always hear a constant message for people that even don't have culture, that don't have anything, and especially the drug addicts, the ex felons, you know, people that have nothing and probably will never gain nothing because of their life choices. You know, one thing is you got to find the happiness through the day. You got to find that happiness But this cannot be to feed your ego, to feed your own self. This is where we have ceremony coming in. This is where we remind ourselves that we are human and we belong to the earth and Father Sky. This is something that has to be embedded in our brains. So when we do pass on the knowledge, we remember that that's the message too. That this is bigger than me, this is bigger than you. Remind yourself that we have a place here and it's a sacred place. So find your mountaintop. You know, that's the key right now is people needs to find their place that they're going to nurture themselves their whole life, no matter if it's a process, no matter if it's a place, no matter if it's their own people, their own culture, their own roots, or they're going to have to find their own way. You have to find a way, and it's a simple saying. You gotta stand for something. If not, you're gonna die for nothing, bro. So you gotta
Yeah.
find your way, and you gotta stick to it. You know, and and whatever that way is, hopefully it's leading you back to Mother Earth and Father Sky, because that's where we give back. That's where we appreciate, and that's where we honor. That's where we gain our knowledge from. They're having a conversation every day. They're talking about tomorrow. I want to hear what they're talking about. I want to be on those vibes with the sun. I want to be on those vibes with Mother Earth. Vibrate on there, because it's real talk. And these people that are hijacking our spirituality, it's fucked up. And then selling it for fucking $333.99. It's fucked up that they're doing all this shit. You know, then they're taking advantage of people. When this knowledge, it's not for everybody. But you know when someone comes across your circles and you can feel that their heart needs something, and there you are, bro. You share that knowledge. This knowledge ain't for everybody, but it's there. No matter what, people are looking for something, man. And if you have something to share, you got to share it, bro. And that's there will never be a time of peace, I feel, right now. The only peace we have is inside our heart and inside our mind. Everything else that we watch, that are subscribed to, everything else, man, it's just gonna be war. It's gonna be war. So hopefully this shit, hopefully people now know how what to put in front of their face. You know what to put in what they're watching, because we gotta watch the subliminal messages out here that are against us too, that we don't see, but they're as we watch them, these subliminal messages, they're also hitting our conscience. You know, so it's a tricky game within this virtual reality, within this whole system. But I feel like right now, as long as we remind people that it's about Mother Earth and Father Sky, you got to come back to us. And just like what you were saying, what's up, Kaplan? What else were you saying, dude? Is saying we need to take time to sleep on Mother Earth. We got to take that time to just come back and get back into nature. Like take off your shoes and step on her, bro, and listen to her and feel Mother Earth, man. Smell the sage. Go out there and smell the fresh dirt after the rain. You know, like these things, like these doings will help your body, your health, your mind, your spirit, but also you acknowledgement. You're giving thanks. Like thank you. Such a beautiful day today. So I think that's the key too, is making. We're so busy, we're so caught up in working, we're so caught up in creating, we're so caught up in looking for what we should do next, surviving, trying to pay the bills. We're so caught up in all this stuff that we forget to go step outside. We forget to go step outside and kick it outside for maybe a couple days, you know, if even better, a month or two. Just stay outside, look at the sky, watch the stars, listen, you know, get that fresh air, get out of these frequencies, these UV rays, all these fucking Wi-Fi's, signals, and all this shit. You know, I feel it. I feel it. Once I go up to, you know, my motherland and I go stand on my mountaintop, you know, I feel so free. I feel lighter. But when I come down here to the valley, I feel the pollution. I feel the haze. I feel all these, you know, electromagnetic fucking signals all around me, bro. I feel heavier down here. The air feels a lot heavier here in the city, in the valley. So I know it takes a toll on the body, and therefore I have to, you know, pray harder. And that even then that gets exhausting. But I found my fighters. You know, I look back at those circles that we built at Oak Flat, Standing Rock, wherever we went, Utah, Colorado, you know, fucking California, like Alaska, Hawaii, you know, like everywhere we went, I go back to those times, bro, and I remember that we put something there. And those prayers are keeping me up. And those prayers have been keeping me up. So that's like the beautiful thing about as you live your life, you want to remember these things, you know? And that's why you pray, man. Sometimes you pray at some craziest places in which we have, and people just look at us. You know, it's like people just look at us like we're crazy, but it's like I'm so happy for this moment right now that it took so much to get me here. I just got to take it in, man. You know, and just pray and give like just look up at the sky, just put my hands up and be like, this thank you, Creator, thank you, holy people. You know, it took so much to get here, no matter what that journey was, point A to point B. It's even harder to get to point A to point B nowadays because of COVID, because of these restrictions. You got to have a vaccine. You got to, you know, and the risks of traveling, even though you're going there and you get to go there, of getting sick and transmitting these viruses, you know. But the biggest virus is how we think and how we perceive each other, you know, and how we talk to each other. You know, this is a whole nother pandemic because now we're seeing each other as toxic, you know, and we don't even get to see each other, but hopefully when we do, physically in the flesh, everything is good, everything is healthy, everything is sacred, and we come each other and we pass those vibes on because we never know what's gonna happen now. We all could get COVID, we all could get another whole virus, and one of us not survive. You know, so we got to take these times right now to connect and stay connected. What is that gonna take? So this is like a good time to remember how far you come from. Connect to those sacred fireplaces that you built and you sat around the people that sat around that fire. Remember their faces. Remember those talks. Remember those songs that were shared. You know, I always go back and I in my mind and I still hear Tony. You know, I still hear those drums at Oak Flat. I still see us looking at those stars late at night and he's singing and we're just chilling, bro. Song after song after song. I still go back, you know, to a lot of places, man, that I had to sleep on the ground. I had to sleep on that couch. I had to sleep in the truck. I had to go sleep outside. You know, it's like why? Because we're trying to get the knowledge, man. You know, we were all young, and when these young people take this sacred knowledge of identity and decolonization and people are trying to promote themselves, you know, we got to know that it's a sacred path, and you got to treat the knowledge and wisdom with respect and remind the people where you got it from. Remember those names, remember those faces, because we all didn't know anything. It takes all of us to figure to figure this shit out. If we want to put together our histories and how we were intertribal, you know, and how we all came together, there had to be a point in time where the north meets the south, you know, where the east meets the west, the peoples of these directions, they all came together at one point, okay? And the language is showing that, history is showing that, the songs are telling us that, the drums, the everything, bro. So now that science is catching up, you know, we still have to remember. We still have to remember because now that science is catching up and trying to date all this stuff, trying to date our migration, trying to date these theories of migration, you know, of where first man, first woman come from. They're trying to catch up, but now they're trying to use that knowledge against us and try to divide us. You know, that they came first. You guys weren't here, but they came first. But you're on their land now, so they're adding fuel to the flame that, yeah, maybe, yeah, we didn't come here. Okay. But what clan did? And what clan was already here? Because those clans still remain. Those people still remain. No matter what, the blood of the original people still walking this earth. They're still breathing, still talking, still living. You know, the conditions that are sacred, that these holy earth sacred people that are living, like, you know, it's the conditions are harsh, even harsher than it was back then, because now we're having struggle to feed ourselves the right way, the healthy way. We're having struggles to go getting herbs, to go getting, you know, meat, to go getting what sustained us within these ceremonies. It's getting harder to find these things and to collect them in a good way because we don't want to over harvest, but there's so less now that people are, traveling far and further just to get the herbs, just to get the whatever they need to prepare for their ceremony. And as far as like buying all that stuff, it getting more expensive because of the scarcity and the demand of people wanting to get back to their culture. You don't have to buy it, go out and get it. That's where we need to be, because right now it takes a lot of money to do ceremonies, and it shouldn't really be that way.
Fuck yeah, my
So
shit costs like 3 grand to do mine.
yeah, yep. So it was kind of like, how can we get more efficient, in respecting the medicines that we gather, so they'll always be there for us, so they'll always be there for us, and that's what we gotta respect the
Yeah,
medicines.
that's also too where I was saying like why communities and tribes need to start talking more, because it's like, if you're not the medicine person or the people doing the ceremony, I feel like no one else is gonna really know, because it's like only the medicine people know like what plants to get medicine, which tree to pick, like which way. It's like ain't no homie out the street or a delegate who don't know shit about ceremony gonna be like, oh yeah, this is what we need to get for our medicine people, and this is where we're gonna go. It's like, nah, like needs to be intertribal, intercommunal talks with the people and the communities. Because to me, it's like, if not, then we're just gonna have what we usually see, which is families in their private time doing their ceremonies and having their gatherings, and that's that. They don't talk about it or express it to other people. They just keep it to their family. And to me, I'm just like, well, a lot of those families are dying out too. Like at least here, shit, we got no one out here. I mean, in your res, I mean, your lands, at least you guys got a lot of people. That's what's beautiful. You guys got a lot of people. But that's where I'm trying to get the overall whole, because not every tribe has that, and I know there's a lot of struggles on your res too, like shitload, and but what I'm just trying to get at is, I wish communities and tribal governments really understood more of ceremony, and admit that they don't know too, because I know a lot of how they act is because they don't know, and it's like, it's okay to not know. Like a lot of grandparents went to boarding school, a lot of grandparents weren't taught, a lot of mom and dads weren't taught, a lot of mom and dads were on drugs. There's so many things. So it's like, you don't need to feel bad about that. I'm one of them. Shit. My mom and dad didn't know shit about ceremony, not disrespecting them as parents, but it's like, I didn't grow up with my grandma and grandpa telling me about ceremony, or my mom and dad explaining to me, this is what we do, this is how we do it. It's like, nah, I fucking had to go out and get that shit myself. And to me, that applies to everyone who fucking doesn't know their shit. Like, if you don't have your grandma or grandpa or mom or dad or aunt or uncle, anyone like telling you the ways, I hate to break it to you, but you got to go find that shit yourself. You got to make the time and effort and take that time to go find it. And then as well as non-natives,
Hmm.
like if you're a non-native who wants to fucking be connected and all this shit, it's like, well, go out. And I'm not talking about like your hikes. I'm just saying, like, go fucking out there. Go be out there in the fucking Mother Earth. Fucking don't eat for a couple days. Fucking sit by a fire for fucking a week. Do something, then something will come to you. Something will happen. But it's like, don't expect the shit to just come to you, because it did. It doesn't. It didn't. Like, I had to meet halfway, just like, anything that came to you, you had to go out and meet it. You couldn't just be like, yo, I'm right here, like, drop it on my lap. It's like, nah, it just don't work that way. Like, and
Yep.
that's where I want, like, the overall people and the natives to know, like, as far as some of myself, I've worked that, I've done that, I've earned that. And that's where I want the tribe here to recognize that shit, because it's like, it's not even recognized, not even sacred. Kind of like, I was telling Derek the other day, I was like, it'd be like in Navajo country, it'd be like all Hogans disappearing for like 50 years, and then one just pops up, and everyone's like, oh dang, like a Hogan's back, like. And I was telling him, like, people would want to be, interested in it, or would need something to help with it. And that's where, for me, I want the tribe to realize that it's not necessarily like you own it or anything. It's just like, it should be something that should be generally looked at, just like a house or water or your septic tank or your electric. Like, so should ceremonial house and ceremonial way. It should be incorporated in our life, because it was there before tribal governments. It was there before politics. It was there before fucking America could say shit about my people. So like, that's where, for me, I'm trying to get it to that point. And then I want other tribes to get that too, because I feel like not every tribe is flexing their ceremonial rights, and I feel like not every tribe is demanding ceremonial rights. Because to me, like, If a Mormon, Christian, Catholic, anyone else in this country can demand rights from the federal government to like not pay taxes or whatever the fuck they get, you know, it's like, well, us having the oldest faith on this part of the earth, that should be listened to too. The only reason why we're not practicing it hardcore is because the fucking military killed our medicine people. They fucking had the Relocation Child Act. Like, there's so many fucking factors to why we're not on our game. But it's like, if we get the resources or at least get the protection or the people that know it, like me, if people let me do my fucking job here on this res, fuck, I'd get these people back to their ways. You'd be having Wonka, you'd be having young men learning how to be fucking medicine people, how to fucking be there for the people. But no, they'd rather be on fucking Vicodins, Percocets, fentanyl, meth, gangs, fucking work all day. Like, so it's just like, that's where I'm just like, well, what do you want? You want to have ceremony and get back to your culture? Or do you want to have all these fucking toxins that are just thrown at us every fucking day, whether it's TV, social media, how we talk to each other, the substances we put in our body, the foods that are all fake and processed, and a bunch of chemicals that fuck with our minds, our body. It's like, it's all related, you know? So that's why for me, I'm just like, why aren't tribes fighting for that shit? They'll fight for fucking, like for instance, I go to Morongo, they'll bullshit about a fucking stop sign and whether they want to get it removed or not from this part of the road. But it's like, they won't fight for fucking an organic farm, won't fight for getting our water back from Arrowhead, won't fight for like preserving culture for kids. And that's why I'm just like, wake the fuck up, everybody. And it sucks that like when younger people talk, like, I get it, respect the elders, whatever, but the majority of natives and elders need to know also, times have changed, man. Like, 2021 is way different than 1980, 1975. Obviously, there's racism and all that shit there, but man, the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the men, all of it is up there. And that's what I don't like about the elders. They don't get that shit. They don't get that there's more drugs and alcohol and women and all that shit just fucking around right now. You know, it's like, it was bad back then, but shit, it's up there right now, man. And I guarantee you, like, we need that shit, man. We need the ceremony. We need spaces. We need communities. Like, and I know there's people out there, but I don't care about single individuals. I talk about collective whole. Because if I wanted to be individual, I don't gotta do this shit at all. I can fund my own shit and make my own shit big and fucking proud for my own family. Just like everyone else who's a sick old ceremonial family and they're all prideful in their farm and their shit and their cars and their house and their job. Like, cool, bro, cool. Like, so that's where I just laugh at all that shit. Because I see it. You know, I see the people who are, you know, and I learned that from being on your reservation, you know, and being in Apache country. You see the families that are like hardcore prayers, but don't really make that much money. You know, I go through a lot of shit. And then you got these other ones pray hard too, but they all got the nice cars. They all got the nice belt buckle. They got the boots. They got this. And it's just like, quit it. Like, quit it.
It's pretty bad, dude. And that's the thing. Like, you were talking about the tribal courts, the tribal system is like, that's the thing. It's like these tribal systems, and we heard it from Winsler, you know, like, that's where I heard it from Winsler. It's like, they are an oath to the government, you know? So what we have to do is the people, we have to tell our tribal governments we want to diminish those oaths, because your oath is supposed to be with Mother Earth and Father Sky. They stand under that flag. We stand under the sun, you know? That's what we are with, you know? We stand under the sun and we stand on the earth. We don't stand under that flag, because that flag is our imprisonment mentally, politically, you know, our laws, it's like all that stuff. And so
that flag don't represent the Indian. Hey.
Yeah, so it's like the people, the tribal system, it's like, it's not gonna work. No matter if we get people in it, they still have the hardest job, and that's to really cut these ties to the BIA system, to evolve them as they want to take something what's rotten and try to bring it. They want to take a corpse and bring it back to life. That's what these tribal systems and our tribal lawyers and all these things are trying to do within the system. You know, we're trying to fight within the system. We got to fight the beast within the beast. You know, we hear these talks, but what that's the hardest fight, you know. So it's like, as the people, the people have a strong leverage, and we should always stay as the people. But once we give it to the BIA, these elected officials, tribal elected officials, they're an oath to the government, you know. So it's hard. They got their, once they do that, they can't say much. They got to say it the right way to where they don't piss off you know, the people they work for, the people they work with, you know, on these issues. So it's like, the people got to keep keeping that raw message, you know, as you, as an individual within your tribe who's trying to get, psilocybin, legalized on your res as medicinal use to prevent people getting on these opioids, the alcohol, and also the healing of the veterans on surrounding communities. You know, it's like, you have a space, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, you have the resources. Now the tribe and the state need to work together to help you get a safe space to where no one's messing with you.
No, it's so
But
funny that you said that, because that's like where it is, man. It's like, that's why I get so annoyed when I get like, I get all in my ego, you know. I get all like, oh man, I want to show people up. I want to fucking, these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about. And so that's where I've come into the point now where I'm just like, okay, like, stop
what
with
we
that
got to
shit.
do,
You know, got to keep
what
it
we got to
safe, like
do.
you said. Keep a safe space and keep it, you know, accessible. And that's where, you know, I want people to come together, because for me, it is really just me. Like, I know I got people that got my back. I know people that support me, but at the end of the day, it is just fucking me. Outside of like
Yeah.
Creator and Mother Earth and my family, like, it's just fucking me here. Like, I'm the dude who calls fools up. I'm the dude who does it. It's like, I'm the guy. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is like, that's where I want people to realize that, like, I am this one man fucking show. Like, and I'm tired of that, because it's a lot. It's a lot of load on me, like my family, everything, you know. And that's why I want honest people to help, because it's like, it's fucking a lot, man. And I want it to be here for people, because like, dude, when I hear these people, like, whether it's veterans or not, like, shit, some of the things these veterans told me, I'm like, dude, like, that's fucked up, you know. And then at the same time, I'm just saying, like, we need to create these spaces, because we have them on the reservation, you know. Like, there's kids on the reservation that, you know, seen things, whether it's suicide or overdose or violence or domestic violence or been molested, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's happened. And that's where, for me, like, want these safe spaces to be here, because there's no places for people on the res to go for that shit, like, outside of what I just said, which is a needle, a bottle, anger,
Yeah.
violence, you know. And
And
that's all they got, because, you know.
that safe space could be really anything. Could be like, you know, but it's hard for people because some people can't even trust their families, you know. They can't even trust their own friends' families. So it's, or even just the city they live in, the town they live in, the community they live in, the housing they live in. They gotta really, you know, be alone out there, and it's dangerous out there.
Yeah,
But
no, I feel
it
that, because
a safe
I get
space could
that
be
from some
anything.
people that I talk with, you know, like, have high PTSD and things like that. But that's kind of where I'm trying to just, you know, that's why I'm like, shit, maybe I got to lock it down myself. I don't know. But because I feel like if I don't, then everyone's going to come in and just give me their fucking opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're never going to let it just sit. It's just going to be like, well, this is what I think. This is what I think. And this is what you should put in. And this is, it's like, well, why don't you fucking do it? Why don't you fucking do it from ground up? And then I'll talk to you. Like, you know, because I had someone talking to me about it, and they're like, well, I was like, well, let me tell you this. I was like, why don't you go get 10 strangers? I was like, find 10 strangers, give them fucking 15 grams of mushrooms, and fucking deal with their shit. And I was like, tell me how that goes. And I said, literally, I said, because I do that. I was like, when people come to my house, outside of the people who help me, I said, I can have 10 people come to my house. That's my first time meeting them right there. Literally a stranger. So it's like, go get a fucking stranger off the street, pump them with 15 grams, and tell me how that goes. You know, and that's where, like, I want people to realize that's what I'm doing. I'm literally taking people off the street. Not like I'm taking bums out, but I'm just saying I'm taking people off the street, fucking dosing them, and then sending them back out there to the real world. And that's where, like, I want people to realize that shit is hard. Hey,
It's hard, bro. I
it's
seen
like
that
raising a kid, because you can tell a kid don't touch that, and
overnight,
they'll touch that shit.
like overnight, you know.
Yeah.
And those are some pretty intense moments, bro. It's like, it ain't no joke. Like these and to remain in that state of mind, you know, it's hard for people. It's hard for people. But once you understand what's going on,
I
you
mean,
kind
you
of been
saw
through the
homie
ropes.
losing it.
Yeah,
Hey?
I see it. Like we're talking about mushroom ceremonies. We're talking about the Wampkish. We're talking about what Shane does on his reservation. Like right now we're talking about that, and it's pretty intense stuff. And it ain't nothing to play with. If your mind it ain't a good way, don't do it. So it's like you really got to prepare for this. The ceremony didn't begin once you're there. It's already started when you're preparing for it, and that's how you create a good experience while you're in it. That you prepared it, you gave the medicine that much respect, that you're preparing for it in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. You're preparing for this thing. You're preparing to take the medicine. So it's already knowing you're coming. It's already knowing you're gonna. So that's how I try to create a good experience. Try to come with good intentions and speak to it before I even touch it. Let the world know that I'm coming. That I'm natural
I'm here.
world know that that we're gonna connect again in a stronger communication, because this body can only do so much. Your dreams can tell you only so much. But when you take the mushroom, when you take the medicine, it connect you real quick, real fast. A lot of people don't know what to do when they're in it. That's why they act like a little kid, because they don't know how to walk yet. They don't know how to walk yet, and it is hard. The spiritual worlds is you're supposed to take your body to the limit, and it is exhausting.
Oh yeah,
You
you
know
gotta
it,
die to go there. Hey.
yeah, you got to really let things go, the fear go. You got to kill that fear that's holding you back in your life, to stick in that leap of faith that you're gonna get through the flames. And this is where the growth comes, and that's a beautiful part about those ceremonies, man, and all ceremonies that take you to the limits. And you really go beyond. You really break through. It really is like an ego death, as people try to call it, but it's more like you're tapping in. You're realizing all the bullshit that you kept in your mind. You're realizing all the bullshit that you're carrying, all the bullshit that you're doing, that have been doing, and all this stuff, bro. And it scares people to look in the mirror, and it scares them, and it's like then they try to act a little different, and you can see it. You can see how they're trying to adjust. They're not just trying to let the medicine take control. You're not in control. You're not in control, and that's the thing. Is
Just
like
I'm over itching,
that's
trying
the
to
biggest.
move, trying to
Yep,
position.
that's the biggest. That's the biggest one. Is they realize they're not in control, and it's so crazy to see it happen when they're realizing, like, dang, they
I
know they're
can't do
figuring it out, and
anything.
they're trying to hold on. They're trying to hold on to everything they got. And it's not funny, but at the same time, we all been there. We all been there in the ceremony. And it's hard because you're trying to hold on to your dear life, and it feels like you're about to fall off the edge of the universe. And but
That's
that's
why I'm
good.
glad we went through what we went through at Oak Flat, because like when someone's going through it, I'm just like, shit. If you were in my shoes at that time, you'd probably ran out through Oak Flat screaming. Hey,
Yeah, yeah, because it seems like that was really a spiritual attack. That was a test of our hearts and mind. Of when you guys really want to tap into to Earth
like
vibes, you
you
want to
want to
tap
see
into
you
the.
can stand still. Here
Mm-hmm.
it is. Hey.
Okay, well, see how strong you really are. So they really fucked with us. Whatever that was, it was testing us, and it was trying to make us angry, try to make us like
I
crazy, but we didn't. Yep, but we didn't. And then it realized that in our heart, because at those final, I don't know how long, but it felt like forever, all night till the morning. I could feel something trying to grab my heart, bro, and it was like trying to squeeze it, and it was trying to like just squeeze it and make me feel like I was telling you, like try to go against what I just did with the medicine. Try to say what the fuck would I do? No, but I didn't. I just kept praying, kept thinking good thoughts, kept saying, well, if it's gonna, because it felt like it was just gonna take us. Whatever it was, just felt like it was. I was like, if it's gonna take us, just fucking. But it
just
didn't.
take me there. I'm right
It
here.
didn't. Yeah, we didn't get abducted by the fourth kind or anything. Thank God.
That shit was wild, dude.
It was something out of this world, bro. It was something. It was like it had to be like the fourth kind. The movies, the fourth kind. That's the only thing that comes close to it.
That would definitely be
Close to
if
it.
that was like in the 1500s, that would have been like a like a sickle rock painting story, sickle star being story around the
They came
fire. Like,
here and
yo,
yeah, bro, it really felt like they could just take easily just grab my. It felt like they were gonna because I was laying down under the tree, just like,
it
oh my
felt like
gosh.
they could just. It felt like they could. It felt like they couldn't. It felt like they couldn't physically be there, but it was weird. It felt like they could manipulate still, like they could manipulate things, like whether it was how you felt, your feelings, like that's what it felt like more so. It felt like more like feelings, like to where they could fucking change your thoughts so bad to where you're just like, oh fuck, like this shit is happening, or maybe this is, or maybe I am fucking out of it. You know, it was like, it was
Yeah,
just like I don't know. It was like as if like you hijack somebody and you just yeah, she's right here. It's like you just fucking download some. It'd be like hijacking someone's brain and you just type in fear on the computer and they're just like, oh my god.
yeah, it was intense, dude. But ever since then, the medicine's been good to me. The medicine's been on that, been really good.
Yeah, same
It's
here.
like
Ever since that moment, like it feels
that
like
was intense.
I just feel like that moment. It was kind of like a universal setting. Like obviously the human beings or whatever, but I feel like in a spiritual sense, it was like we made that kind of like here I am, you know, kind of like, and it was kind of like a shock to both, you know, because it was like, hey, because that's what I felt when that entity came and it started talking to me. It was like talking to me as if like, oh, we killed all your people, and it's like I'm sitting right here, like you came here from the sky, like I didn't go to you, like you saw my fire and you came here, like, and that's where I'm saying like I think we just made that imprint to kind of like, you know, where the people are like, oh shit, like those spirits are like, okay, like they're still here, kind of like a spirit that thinks, you know, like they have someone, you know, under their control, and then it's like, oh shit, like the big dogs are still around, you know, kind of like a big brother, older brother type deal, you know, like if the older brother is one up in the little brother, and then the little brother is one up in the big brother, and the big brother is like, oh shit, like let me fuck with my little brother real quick because he might be better than me, or he might be stronger than me, or he might know more than me, you know, and that's kind of how I felt in that moment. Like it was just like these spirits were just like, man, fuck these guys, man. We had to go through all this to get to where we're at, and they just had to come here, like, and they're already like that. That's what it felt like they were just like these motherfuckers, like kind of like as if we broke the law, but it's like we didn't break no law. That was all
Yeah,
natural law. If anything, they would have broke the law doing what they were trying to do to us. That's why I felt like
yeah,
they stopped, because they were going against natural law, and if they would have did that, I felt like it would have caused a rift, like on all
hmm
levels, not just like for you and I, but just on all levels of creation. Because we're
yeah,
part of the whole mix. Our entity, our being, our light source, like what makes us who we are, is part of the whole creation. And
hmm
that's where I
there you
felt
go.
like they were like, "Oh shit, like we can't do that." Because then
That
we
was
got to
intense,
answer to
dude.
the big dog who runs us all. Nah.
Yeah, and I remember 4 days after that. For 4 days, bro, I was exhausted, man. After that, I was spiritually exhausted, physically exhausted. It took a lot out of me. Whatever we were fighting against, battling to save our sanity or our physical presence on this earth, bro. It was we were fighting just to be here for that
Just
night.
to
Like,
take a
whatever,
breath.
yeah, whatever that was, bro. That was an intense moment, and it taught me a lot about the spirit and how fast it could challenge you. Like, and because it's always present, and once you handle the medicines, they're watching too. Just because you got them, these things, they're still watching how you handle them. And that's where it's like you got to really walk a thin line of respect and being humble and humility. To really to stay true to yourself and remember why you're doing all this stuff, the original intentions. And that's the ultimate key for me too. Keep creating. Always remember why I'm doing this, what I'm putting out, who's the audience. Ultimately, I just want my nieces to look back and be like, "Dang, my uncle was a cool ass guy."
Some uncle stories.
Oh, look at all his content, his TikTok. No, I just but yeah, bro, and that's ultimately preserving the messages, digitally on these technological landscapes to really drive people back to what is sacred instead of looking at the next trend.
Yeah, no,
That's
I was seeing that too because I was thinking about that too because the other day I was like, dude, I need to start recording shit for Sunray, like how-to videos or go-to videos, like whatever. But at the same time, I was like, man, I want to write it because I was watching this video and this guy was just talking about like he's like, man, everyone's trying to digitally put things out, they're really trying to get it out there, and then I had another bro, he writes a lot. And he was just like, hey, you should write, and I do write, but I don't write like crazy. But I was thinking about that and I was like, that would be cool too, because like, you pass it back, like let's say 40, 50 years, someone reads it, like whether it's my son or my daughter or one of my relatives. It's cool because in that time, it's like it could just take you back, to like being real, because I always think like digital, you make it, but there's no like you can't grasp it, like writing you can grasp, you can see it, feel it, see the authenticity, but it's like this, and that's where for me I was thinking about trying to write again, whether it was in there or even I was thinking about even getting some like a little stone and trying some because I just like the old things, they last, and that's kind of where I want to take it because I want to like continue to write, and then also think of other ways because I definitely think also in the future, this digital stuff, it might even dilute a lot of things too, kind of like now, like for instance, like how we're doing this live. I mean, it's cool, but shit, I'd rather be kicking it with you, chilling, blazing, not saying just to blaze, but just the overall connection, is there, and that's where I want to get that back because I feel like this is it kind of makes that to people where people get so accustomed to, especially during COVID. Most people are so used to like having conference calls, Zoom calls, talking to their boss or their colleagues on Zoom, and that to me is like, it's something taken away from the human. As far as like our people, it was always communal. It was always like face to face or around a fire or shit. We'd meet halfway somewhere, whether it was horseback or we walked. To me, like that makes it that much more. Just like if I had to walk halfway, to AZ or to Gallup or you, vice versa, like that would stick more in my brain versus like just looking at my screen. You know what I mean? I'd have way more to think back on in my brain. My brain would actually work a lot harder versus just like, oh, let me just type this in and this is like my brain will actually work. And I feel like even doing the digital, it prevents the brain from fully working, and that's why I feel like today, that's why these mushrooms kick ass too, because they reconnect the brain and then the brain's just going off because most people are just so used to like, oh, I go on my phone, type in Google, find what I want, or, I go to school, I listen to my professor, or I talk to this person who's educated, or I go to the grocery store and it's like, it's not always like that. Like at least for real knowledge, and that's what I liked about Indians, natives is like all our knowledge was self-explored, or it was taught from someone who self-explored it, it wasn't like, oh man, let me just Google this real quick and okay, boom. Because I feel like let's say I learned how to let's say I Googled how to pray.
yeah.
There's gonna be no like intimacy. There's gonna be no real expression. It's just gonna be like, well, da 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 da. You know what I mean?
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Think of
And
some
just
happy
take a
thoughts.
breath. And that's what I mean. I don't want that for my kids or other people's kids in like 2050. I'd hate for them to be like, oh, I gotta go to the reservation website and then when it's like they don't have no elders, no. To me, that's gonna hurt more. Like I would hate to be a kid in the future wanting to find my culture and I have to go to a fucking data website on the internet, or I have to like search some article, or like go to the tribe and ask for like this link or something instead of like all my people who once knew it.
Oh, want to learn your history? Here, watch this link. Watch this video.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, like I want to learn the ceremony.
Oh.
Here's a link. You can look at the link.
How you set up this ceremony? Here's a manual right here. You just put the rocks right.
Yeah, here's the manual PDF. You can download it.
There's a full PDF setup. You can run this ceremony by tomorrow.
Yeah, it was written by an old medicine man, so it should help.
Yeah, he's the author of this. But it's happening, bro. And it's coming to that. People are putting this shit up there for people to understand, like. But some of those things, like, have good knowledge. But, yeah, bro, it's like people can take all that stuff and put a whole new brand on it. Like, man, it's terrible how people are jacking spirituality and selling it, you know, hardcore nowadays.
I know. Some days it makes me want to act up. Hey,
Yeah, well, it's nothing new. It's been going on forever. But within these hard times, I'm pretty sure people are making a hustle off people's struggles, you know, trying to make them believe they can do this stuff by praying a certain way or do whatever you need to get done,
or
succeed
have
in,
these
or you want.
herbs on your altar
Yeah,
that might bring you some dollar bills. Hey,
yeah, like the over harvesting of the California sage, you know, to the sage that's up in South Dakota. A lot of them are picked by non-natives and sold in the stores, and you know, I think it was called San Paulo. That's also from Brazil, getting fucking sold everywhere. And that's deforesting, you know, that's over harvesting, and that's destroying a lot of indigenous territories, indigenous wildlife, you know. So
yeah, they all help. Every plant helps each other, not just the humans. They help the plants, the animals, the soil.
uh, that's like a whole nother topic right there of selling our brand, selling everything, selling our
Yeah,
culture, you know.
and that's exactly why I want to create this collective, because it's like too many people are conforming to make money off it instead of calling them out. Because to me, it's like, dude, like fuck you, man. Like you're straight up culture appropriating. You're straight up like taking this shit, and without it, you'd have no like real platform. You know, that's why I trip out in the psychedelic space, because all these people are like, they use feathers, they use crystals, they say they went down south, they did all this, and I'm just like, dude, like you can see it all over you that you've only done this like between 1 and 5 times, once or twice a year, between a span of 5 years. And it's like, dude, you have no real fucking connection, because outside of this, like, you still working, you still got to do this shit. Like, quit it. And that's what, for me, like, I want people to recognize that. And that's not wrong for feeling that way. Just like if I painted my skin black, like blackface, and the black community started getting after me, yeah, that is a real reason for that. But when a native fucking calls out someone for culture appropriation or this or that, we're looked at as like we're angry or we're this or that. When it's like, nah, fuck that. Why does everyone else get a fucking card to fucking grope and moan and this and that? And it's like once a fucking native gropes and moans or talks about like some real trauma, everybody gets all fucking scared. But it's like natives hear this trauma all the time. We've been dealing with trauma forever. It's like shit ain't nothing new to us. Shit, we'll tell you whether it's sober or not. Shit, you know, fucking native
Mhm.
will tell you like shit hurts, life's hard, fucking shit's rough, you know. And that's where I want people to realize like we have a voice to say that too, and it's not bad for us to like want to reclaim our culture and our identity. And if it's not your identity, you shouldn't be mad when the people whose identity is calling you out. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, they're just as oppressed as us. Like, you know, and that's why I just want people to realize that. That's one thing I get tired of, because like in this movement, I deal with so many like non-natives and people like, you know, rainbow people, hippie people, people who really get accustomed to ceremonies and sweats and fans. And I'm just like, cool, man, it's cool, but don't act like I gotta be your homie, and don't act like I have to fucking like you because you're saying you're sacred or because you say you're praying. It's like I don't have to. Like that shit ain't cool.
Yeah, for real. I bet you get that a lot over there, bro, especially within the psychedelic movement, and because they colonized that shit, you know. Um, I was reading someone's post. I think I shared you one of her posts about a book that she shared. You know, Marlena
Oh yeah,
Robbins.
that the native
Yeah,
chick with the mushrooms.
yeah, she's been on her spiritual journey too with it. And but anyways, she shared a post that at a book she was reading, and in that book she was talking about where these white people, rich as white people, got the mushroom from, and it was someplace down south, you know, and within this community. And the lady, it was a woman who invited these rich ass white people in from Hollywood, and that's where they stole the mushroom. You know, they took the mushroom back and they took all this experience, whatever appropriation, and they took it to California. And this is where they started doing the mushrooms and promoting the mushrooms, you know, and stuff like that. And the woman that was in that community was pretty much, you know, banned from the community because of what happened. And her words were, now the mushroom knows, the medicine knows, and because the medicine knows how these people are treating the medicine, it's no good for me. It's no good for us. And I was like, damn. I was like, damn. So the medicine already knew that it was going to be prophetized.
Yeah.
It was going to be, patented. Or maybe nowadays now it's getting legalized. Certain genetics of certain genes of or the DNA of the mushroom, could grow this, or you can grow that, and maybe patent. So
Oh yeah.
the medicine is going to be different, And anyway, so that's just something I heard about how the mushrooms being used and how what's the message from the mushrooms to that community was, well, it's not a good outcome for either of you guys, because these people came with the wrong intentions of using the
Yeah,
medicine.
their whole intention was not for pureness, and that's how I feel too. Like I even told Karma, like there's days where I want to quit, the board that I'm on, like certain things. I'm like, these people, they don't get it, like and that's why I want to create this collective, or at least just keep it myself, because it's like, dude, there is a real way, and that's where, like, for me, that's why I want to keep it that way, because like, we have that shit on our rock, we have it in our stories, and it's like these people, they just don't have shit, man. They really don't. And that's where, for me, I want to keep it that way. So that way we can have the upper hand to communicate, to talk, to present. But at the same time, it's like, that's where I'm trying to get this native collective for it, because, like what you're saying, it's already over. Like, David Bronner, Dr. Bronner, Soaps, all these other people. And I'm seeing it even with the veteran community, because the veteran community that I work with, there's two communities there, and they're both funded by Dr. Bronner's Soaps, and the first one, it's a Heroic Hearts Project, and then the other one is Vets, and it's out in Texas, but they're both sponsored by Dr. Bronner's Soaps, and so what they're doing is they're selling, obviously, they're using PTSD as the forefront, as the go getter, as the clickbait. And so I worked with this guy, Veterans Walk and Talk, and he was just expressing to me of how, like, they don't really do too many ceremonies, this and that. And then, I'm starting to see it too, because they fly these veterans down to Peru. And I looked online, those ceremonies range between like 700 to like 4,500 per person, like if it's a week or what. And they're taking like 10 to 15 people at times. So you got to think that's at least like $35,000 to $40,000, just for that. That's not including the flights, all this other shit. And so that's where I'm coming at, to say, like, I'm seeing that division, even in the veteran community. It's like, you got these rich people trying to act like they know what's up about veterans, because they're using, like, for instance, the guy in Vets. I'm not discrediting it, because obviously, they're fucking combat veterans, but they're still being used for what they're being used for. This Vets guy, they use a former dev guru, Navy SEAL Tier 1 special operator. And then the dude running fucking Heroic Hearts, I think he's a Green Beret. So that's another special force in the Army. And so it's like they're just all calculating. They're all strategically doing it. They're all strategically monopolizing it to make the most money. And for myself, that's where, like, I'm with this veteran cat. And that's what we're seeing, this battle, is all these people trying to make millions and millions of dollars from it. And then over here, I'm like, shit's free. Like, so what I do for free, why the fuck these motherfuckers need millions? And that's kind of like where all this other shit is kind of coming to play. And for me, I'm just like, I'm getting tired of it. That's why I want to just back out and do what I do, because it's like all these other cats are just for money. They're just there to become like gods, like scientific, like mushroom gods, in a sense, to be like, well, this is what I know, scientists back it up, like, you don't know shit, like, you have to come to me to heal, like. And that's kind of what I don't like, it's like, it's sick, it's disgusting,
Yeah.
It's like prostituting ceremony, pretty much. Just fucking like, hey, here, selling this, you come get it, here, it's $50, $100, what you want.
Yep. Sucks, dude. And it's coming back, all that shit. But I'm glad you're going to try to break away. I mean, you should always, as a native should, always try to distance themselves from, and make it kind of known, like, most of these organizations, they need us, within these fields of indigenous because a lot of them are staunch, promoted, invested by non-natives, companies, brands, whatever, giving back grants, to the natives. Like, all right, well, here's the money, but these organizations, they need a native, or these native-owned organizations, nonprofit or for profit, they need a native story, they need a native issue, they need a native, So I'm glad that you're gonna distinct yourself, that you are your own individual and doing your own stuff, because you kind of have to within these groups, or else they're gonna take advantage of your value and put it to say, well, we gave you this stuff, we gave you the resources and
Yeah,
all
that's
this,
why I'm
but
glad. Like, I never went. Like, that's why I'm glad David Bonner never came here because that's how I felt. I felt like he was gonna be cool, but then he'd be like, "Well, I gave you this, I gave you this grant, I gave you this check, whatever. I paid for this facility, and I just don't need that, because it's like I want to
yeah,
work and help people.
on your own, like without people saying, well, what about now, it's time to give back, with like favors or something like that, I don't know, man, but I'm glad I didn't, it was a big, I'm pretty sure it was a fat check, but all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm glad that he knows that he needs you, you know?
Yeah, no, that's why I
That,
feel like he's keeping me on ice, and I don't like that. I'm just like, be real, bro. Like, just say you want to work here, and if not, like, don't wait for this shit to go its route, and then once you know I'm who I am, then you're gonna be like, hey, bro, like, we got a spot for you over here, da 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 da, and it's like, psh, yeah, right.
yep, for
Even
real,
though he's not
man.
going to do that, but I'm just saying, like, some people will be like that. Like, hey, man, we need a facilitator, or we need this, or we need a traditional person here. Like,
Yep,
you know how that
I feel
goes.
it, bro. Yep.
So we need
Hey,
an
that's
Indian
good.
to say the blessing today. Hey,
So we need some land acknowledgments. Fuck
say,
that. Give
is
us the
there an
land
Indian in
back.
the room? We're going to bless the food. Hey,
So how about give us our land back first?
how about you just leave? Hey,
I'll pray this land comes back to the original people and
I
bless
pray
this
the
food, I
land
guess.
comes back to the original people. And I pray that the Creator forgives the first people and punishes the others, just like we've been
Yeah.
punished. Hey.
Yeah.
I'd be like, people got to know natives were part of it too. There were some natives that probably signed some bad deals and just backstabbed their people back in the 1200s. Hey,
Yeah. 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 It's all, I mean, those things, those generational curses, I'm pretty sure they're real, bro, because some of those families, they fucked the whole people up, they fucked the whole tribe up, displacing them, because they just one little signature, one little paycheck, or a
or a
safety
coat and
safety
a
zone.
meal and a bed to sleep, and they're like, yeah, the whole
Yeah.
tribe's over that mountain.
Yeah. Go get them.
Go
I'm gonna
get
be
him.
here.
They just fucking branded me yesterday. Go get him.
Fucking yeah, man. Those sellouts were everywhere, bro. But
They're
hey, man,
still
I'm gonna
here.
go off.
I see him on social media still. Hey.
Yeah. All right, bro. I'm gonna end it. I gotta go bathroom, bro.
Yeah, yeah, man. Do your thing. Good talk, bro. Fucking good shit, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna take whatever highlights of this and put it on TikTok and share it, bro.
Yeah, yeah, man. Shit, we need to get more. And then, yeah, I'll hit you up
Yep.
and let you know. I should be coming out to that dance, so I'll probably be out that way in like 2 weeks.
All right, brother. We'll see you
All
soon
right.
then.
Yeah, you have a good one, bro.
Peace out, guys.